Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into NFT Live. We're bringing you the latest NFT and Web3 news from around the mother effing space. It is Thursday. It is the last episode of the week. We appreciate you stopping by here today. I'm sitting here with Gift Dead, sitting here with Biggie Poppins. What's going on, fellas?
Yo, are we out of
Dude,
sync? I can't tell.
what?
Like, yeah, I can't tell. Dude, I'm happy to be here, but I can't tell. Like, my video's off. Are we in sync or are we like lagging?
It might be
You
you.
you
I'm
seem
I'm
like
doing
to
okay.
be.
All
I'm
right,
doing good.
cool.
I can hear you fine, but on the video, I feel like you're a little bit backtracked.
All right, yeah, I think that's just restream. All right, we're good. We're
There
here.
we go.
Yo, yeah, happy Thirst Trap Thursday. That's all I got to say. Happy to be alive.
Biggie, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. Woke up to like a whole bunch of Twitter drama, apparently, huh? Like, what the hell happened last night?
Well, Beanie's back. Didn't you hear? Beanie's back.
Jeez. Apparently, dang, that was surreal. Uh, I just picked up a couple of sound bites here and there just to see how bad it got, but apparently it got pretty bad.
Yeah. A lot of stuff happened over the past, I would say, 24 hours. Beanie joined a Spaces, sending Twitter pretty much into a frenzy. For those of you that don't know who Beanie is, we will get into this as the episode goes on. Obviously, the episode is titled "Are All NFT Influencers Bad?" We also want to talk about good NFT influencers, right? We had the GM Web3 morning show as we do every Monday, through Thursday as well. Before these NFT lives, we touched on a lot of names. A lot of names came up. Nick Swervis also has another short list of names, which I'm seeing a lot of good ones. Gutter Dan is on that list. Beijing Dao, Apewood, Daddy Elon. That's one name that wasn't thrown around who might be the biggest influencer in the entire space.
Well, it's
Uh,
interesting because there's kind of like actually there's a lot of different genres of influencers that even like tap into the larger Web3 space, and crypto influencers can be quite a bit different from NFT influencers. And we didn't even really get into crypto influencers, which
yeah.
are you could talk about Elon Musk as obviously one of the big, but like Elon Musk is also one of the biggest influencers in the world. Period. So it's like you know.
Yeah, yeah. Elon's an interesting take because he has that that much of a influence where he's touching pretty much everything.
He's
But
the
don't
He
touch
modern day
us.
trans
Michelangelo, man.
Yeah, he transcends crypto and NFTs and everything. He's influential on every level.
Biggie,
Yeah,
what are you up to other than hearing about all this nonsense related to Beanie?
bro. Not man, I just got back from like playing, touching grass, as we like to say in the space, with just like being with my kid out in the playground and everything. And I'm ready for the week to be over. It seems like a lot has transpired, right? Um, I've been really like, so two things. Like one is, I don't know if you checked out that link I sent you guys of like what where they asked an AI to depict what human evolution would look like, and it's like a short clip here. I'll share it
Oh,
with you guys
I got
here,
you.
but it is freaking insane. And there's a fucking Terminator. Just please watch, people. I would like
We're watching in real time
confirmation.
here.
Oh man, he's got like multiple legs.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna reshare this with. I almost feel like this has to have audio. Like this needs audio because the audio is actually lit. So hold on.
I mean,
I can sign it,
first of all,
dude.
All right, now we're at NFT Live. All right.
that jump from monkey to human was real quick. It was just like straight up
Yeah.
monkey human. That was yeah.
Literally half the episode, we weren't even like human form anymore. We were like a snake with like 10 billion eyes.
Well, but
Dude.
what was really crazy is I felt like at the end there, where it's like the sort of humans just become one with the machines. It was very much like, you know, the Matrix movies, where it's like, you know, he goes into the Matrix and it's just basically like a robot city. It's just like one big giant AI is just all, you know, consumed all of humanity.
I feel like somebody just felt that, you know, like that GAN was just fed Wachowski brothers and like, you know, James Cameron movies straight.
Some shrooms
But-
were involved potentially.
I mean, you know, if you look at what happened yesterday in this debate, you're like, damn, like maybe we are heading in that direction, man.
That would
Alright.
definitely fuck with your mind if you were tripping. Like if you were on some hardcore psychedelics watching that on loop, you'd be like freaking out.
Segueing us back to the episode that we have to do here today, bringing you back to earth here. We are going to touch on some quick hits. We do have some interesting news at Blur. Blur token is coming out here relatively soon. They've got an airdrop that's ongoing. Don't feel like you have to rush to your computer. It's going to be about 13 days that you have to claim. Also, it's a new marketplace. We love talking marketplaces here on the channel, so we will get into that talk as well. Some other quick hits. I think, Biggie, you had some staking pieces. Aptos, another layer 1, is being launched by team from Meta, which is, you know, always on the minds as well. So we'll touch on those pieces of quick hits right away here in just the next couple seconds. Please leave a like, sub to the episode. Do we have any giveaways ongoing, Gifted? Do we have?
I mean, if we could do the clip one. So we did one in GM Web 3 that if you scissor us, if you clip the episode on Twitter and repost it, and everybody that we know does that, we're going to airdrop a Witchy GF. We're going to announce the winner of the Oniforce today. I think that giveaway just ended, so somebody's going to win. We haven't announced it, but we're gonna run the picker and, you know, randomly select a winner for the Oniforce prize package. That's huge. And then I actually have not announced yet. You know, we haven't announced the Zehovac one yet. So we got a bunch of winners to announce. And then if you want to actively get in on one, you can go clip this morning's GM Web 3 show on Twitter, post a clip, and every single person that does is going to get airdropped a Witchy GF, an amazing animated NFT by Sketchnate, one of the dopest artists alive, frankly. So that's what we're doing. But to your point, if you have not liked the video, if you don't subscribe to the Web3 YouTube, we got beef. Like, straight up, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, Q. Like, we got beef. If you're hanging out, enjoying the show, getting value, and have not subscribed, you're a rug. That's all I got to say about that.
All right, that was. I just
it.
wanted to add that in there. Like, I'm getting
Perfect.
used to the software here, so that's going to be brought up multiple times. If you guys make a good point, it's up there.
The timing
love it.
was impeccable. Yeah, that was great.
All right, so let's get
Beautiful.
into the first quick hit of the day here, since we're now doing it daily, of course. We had a staking platform that I want to get into really quick. So let us know what's going on here, Biggie, with Atadia, I believe. Hopefully I'm saying that right.
Yeah. You know, so one of the things that like has been very prevalent as of late is like this whole experimentation and iteration on like curating your investors, right? Your community. Like before, it was just kind of like put together art, launch it, get a whole bunch of influencers to pump and dump it, and whatever, come away, we'll make money from the fucking fees or whatever, right? As time has passed, like some different projects have tried to iterate on that, right? To be able to choose and curate their community from the get-go. Youths is a good example. We have recently Valhalla, and I think like my OG community proof, you know, with Moonbirds did it as well, implementing the nesting system, right? I think it's very important, right? When you know, these projects take a very long time to develop. It's people that are usually very passionate in the space. So you want to make sure that whoever's getting on board is a real believer, right? And so Atadia here, I thought was really interesting. I love the name, which is like basically cryostaking.
Yeah, I totally fucked that up.
I don't know. I just think of like you know, like of Walt Disney or something like that. But what they're basically like, they are looking for people with some serious conviction, because if you were to choose to cryo stake your NFT with them, you are looking at 32 years, man. 32 years. Would you stake uh, one of your NFTs for 32 years? Obviously, for certain reward status within the ecosystem. I don't know. I have a lot of conviction. I've always been a proponent of like long plays, like hold forever type of mentality. However, I do like having some optionality. 10 years, maybe. 32.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
What are you getting for cryo staking for 32 years? I
Okay,
need to know what
so
reward I'm getting for doing that, because that influence. Like if I get $1 million right now, I might stake for 32 years. I don't know. You
And
know.
is it guaranteed? You know what I mean? Because like here's
yeah,
the
that's
thing.
the
Here's
thing.
the thing. Most government bonds are not that long, and they have guaranteed returns attached to them, right? They have set percentages, return rates attached to them. So like you know exactly what you're getting, and you're getting it in a currency that is relatively stable, right? Like obviously the dollar, like, you know, it inflates and it deflates, and like it, you know, it does fluctuate a little bit in value, but it is the most stable currency, you know, global currency that exists. So it's like you have a very specific idea of what you're getting in return for staking your money with the government for 10 years on a bond or whatever. Most bonds aren't even this long, and they're much more predictable. So it's a massive risk, in my opinion.
Most definitely, most definitely. And but you know, I love seeing this type of experimentation, because that's how we're gonna find out what best mechanisms work, right? Like what's the best way to approach these people, you know, like these long conviction, like your true fans in the sense of the word, right? In this particular case, I thought it was really interesting because man, like 32 years, like is no freaking joke. And like you said, we compared to bonds, or I mean, I think we only have like a guaranteed rate. We're barely getting like something of like a guaranteed rate, like just with ETH at the moment, right? I mean, with NFTs, it's like a whole other ball game. But can you imagine like 32 years from now being like, yeah, I'm one of those OGs. Like I
That's like
staked.
that's my whole life,
So
basically.
Yeah,
That's
it's for
my
your
whole
kids.
life.
we might not be around then. Who knows? Yeah, pass it off to your kids. Listen, there is a interesting point here, that you actually get essentially a receipt, right, with this NFT. So
Mhm.
they don't, as they say here, we don't expect degens to freeze their assets for 32 years. So apparently, the receipt can be traded. While the NFT will be locked, the receipt that you could sell for essentially the same amount of money, potentially, you know, in theory, you actually get. So it's
Liquid staking.
yeah,
Yeah.
like liquid staking. Yep.
I agree, at least with the premise that, you know, this is like experimentation is good. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. I do like the creativity of it. And it's an interesting thing. I personally am probably not gonna be on board for a 32-year commitment at this point, even though like I'm as basically as long term, you know, I'm fully committed. I've been committed. So it's like, and I come from a long term sustainability perspective, and 32 years is for a single, you know, investment is still a very long time.
So the question then becomes, what is the amount of years that you would be comfortable doing a cryo staking? Because it looks like, based on the, you know, the, again, I'll link the article here, they have options for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years, and the trade off here is the incentive of getting the token. I believe
Which is
it's
like a
ATA
piece of
token.
art, right? Yeah.
Well, I think it's a
Yeah.
fungible token actually.
Yeah, they have
Well, I guess
PTT, looks like PTT or ATA or ATA, I guess.
and I think you also get dropped like a piece of art that's just like no value or anything. It's just like you know, denoting it's cool. It's like a cryogenic sarcophagus. So you can see it in the Twitter link. It's pretty dope.
It's so
It
okay.
definitely falls on the like extreme experimenting side of it, but I dig it. You know, like that's kind of how you have to be thinking in this space.
Yeah, and again, I think the idea of crypto staking or cryo staking is interesting, but I have to say this. like for just for anybody that's out there that maybe hasn't lost their ass trying a bunch of these innovative DeFi protocols. This is basically DeFi. That's what this is. This to me kind of just feels like a lot of the like Olympus DAO or a lot of these other staking DeFi schemes that is just wrapped up in a new term, cryostaking. And so again, like I just think people should be very careful if they're expecting that the whatever coin or token that they're going to be getting is going to be valuable, because what ends up happening with a lot of these DeFi protocols is they have an initial pump, and then people buy in, and then there's kind of like there's a top, and then it plummets. And a lot of times people are buying in at the top thinking, oh, this coin's going to be worth X amount of money, and then there's nothing else behind it, and it crashes, and you've got a bunch of worthless tokens, and you bought in at the top. And so I'm not saying that's what this is. I'm just saying there's been a lot of other examples of DeFi protocols promising staking rewards in their own tokens, and very rarely do they have any long-term value so far. It's not to say, again, the experimentation is important because that's how we figure out what does work, but also beware.
Yeah. Caveat emptor, right?
Yeah. I think it gets a little bit more interesting when we get in that 1 to 2 year frame, if the security is okay, right? Because the security on that time frame, I'm not trying to sell my Bored Ape for a long time, unless if we moon and it goes back to 150 in that time, I could get or 150 or 200 ETH in that time. Like that would be unfortunate, in that situation where maybe it moons again and then comes back down to the floor price that we see today. But if I could be absolutely sure about this cryo staking and earn tokens while I stake my ape, I would do it. But the security there is the problem.
Would you do if you were incentivized for ApeCoin? I mean, not considering the fact that it's being investigated right now by the SEC and everything, but let's assume it wasn't. How long do you think you'd go for, Nifty? A 5-10 year for ApeCoin?
That's a great question. I think I would go for maximum probably 2 years. Maximum 2 years, because in that time frame, you're talking about maybe a whole nother cycle. Yeah, who knows what the fuck's happening in the next piece where I need that liquidity or things like that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, like I personally would hedge on the side of like 2 to 5 years, but I think up to 10 years is interesting because I see the most explosive growth happening in the like 5 to 10 year window right now, right? So like as far as this whole industry and this whole movement of Web3 and decentralization, blockchain, etc., I think between next 5 years or next 10 years is when you're going to see the largest growth. Okay, so that's the most exciting time.
Let's sweeten the pot. Let's sweeten the pot for Nifty now. So if you stake for 10 years, not only do you get like a certain amount of ApeCoin, but you get a Mega Mutant vial at the end of the 10 year. 5 years.
Well, okay.
Would you do for 5 years? 10
then
years, I'll be nice. 5 years.
I would probably do that for a Mega Mutant vial on a 5 year time frame, because then you're kind of betting, okay, is Yuga going to go away in that time? Probably not. Again, like all of these things are based on that reward that you just mentioned. You just sweetened the pot for me. So if I could lock up for 5 years, and in that time, ATA or ATA rewards are popping off, plus the company pops off and the token goes 10x, then at some point you're like you're almost even on your initial asset there. So
we roped you in, man.
yeah, I'm down. Where do I cryostake my ape? Here we go.
Yeah, but technically, I think the issue with a lot of these and why the SEC is starting to come down is because a lot of these things technically kind of qualify as unbacked securities. I believe that's what a lot of these things are, right? There's nothing backing their value, and so when people decide like it doesn't seem to be going where we think, or some people start dumping their coins, all of a sudden it fucking goes to zero, and there's nothing else to it. It's just. That's what a pump and dump is. There's nothing else really there backing it up.
Yeah.
So
this is a dope. This is a dope combo. I mean, there's also NFT loans, which this doesn't fall under that because they're not actually getting custody. I think of your NFT there, where they can then liquidate it if your loan falls below a certain level. So
this is not a quick hit. This is a hit.
Yeah. This is a full hit. So,
it's a full hit.
Biggie, yeah, I appreciate
But it's one of those things, right? Like Charlie Munger says, show me the incentives and I'll show you the results. And on that note, why don't we move over to the Blur token, which is a very particular incentive here, right? You're talking about incentivizing people to pay royalties, right? And get rewarded for that. And not only that, but again, what are the results going to be? Who knows? Is it going to like moon and then dump? Because theoretically, you're going to get access to a DAO, right? The whole thing is to make this platform more decentralized over time and to put it in the hands of the community, right? What do you think?
The question you have to ask yourself at home before we dive into this is whether this is a dope evolution of the space. I mean, they're adding, a marketplace reward for people that do royalties. Like this, is this a cool marketplace, or is this a whole psyop that you're going to get roped into and then dumped on by a lot of the investors in the space? One of which people are saying is Beanie. So,
well, allegedly he admitted that himself, and I think. Okay, I wasn't in the room, so please, somebody in the comments correct me if I'm wrong.
Me neither.
My understanding is that part of all that drama that you woke up to, Biggie, was that people were basically calling him out in spaces and holding his feet to the fire, and eventually were able to get him to admit that he is behind Blur, and he's one of the people that are behind it. So that's my understanding. That's what I heard. Please, somebody fact check me who was in the space.
That was my understanding as well, Giff.
So, okay, but here's what I really don't like. Besides the fact that, Beanie has a very controversial history of, rugging and lying to the community about stuff, and he's one of the backers. Besides that, if you go back to the website, just up at the top, like right when you land, just the homepage, right at the top, what it's doing there is it is selling you fast money. The fastest NFT marketplace, ditch slow, execute trades faster, and make more money on Blur. This is basically, to me, says this is promising fast money. And that's what I fucking hate about it, is just like off the bat, is like all you're doing here is like shilling a token, trying to get people into your token and promising them fast money. You're not actually doing any real innovative new utility. Like,
But I think the fast money that they're trying to refer to here, GIF, is like the pro traders, right? Because the marketplace is like refreshes a lot faster and everything, and speed is the name of the game in this space. And so I think that's what they're referring to, not so much like fast money as like get a bunch of tokens and we'll make you rich. I mean, the tokens you're getting for free, right? Like I think what's important here is like, and it's unfortunate because I've been using it for a while as part of the beta test, and I know there's a lot of hardworking people out there, and like honest, like you look at the table of the advisors and everything, there's good people involved, and one motherfucker has to come over and shit the pot, right? And again, like you said, it could very well be that in the end it ends up being a dump, a pump and dump. I don't think so. I think right now I'm very much happy with the fact that I'm choosing to pay royalties and I'm getting rewarded for it, and that I'm not transacting on OpenSea, which I don't know if you saw the tweet by NFT Stats today, like their number one volume NFT is like some, again, pump and dump scheme that was verified by OpenSea, and a bunch of people are trading. Nobody can comment on what the hell it is. It started dumping after he called them out. But again, like I am just happy that I'm not dealing with this particular exchange that for so long has been renowned just not give a shit about their customers. So I'm happy to take sides with these guys at the moment, in spite of Beanie's involvement. He's just one guy in the whole sea of people that are contributing to this space. I mean, I know Zeneca's involved. I know there's a whole bunch of other people that are good people that I respect, that I don't think that are into it for a pump and dump. And what can you do?
It remains to be seen. Right? It remains to be seen either way. To me, it's a red flag when you're like the way that you're marketing something is fast money, because you're just selling people on greed, basically. Like I don't know.
Maybe they should put like fast transactions or fast execution or something like that.
That is it. Like I'm just reading through the lines. The gist of what they're saying is like make a bunch of money with us quickly.
I mean, there's a whole alternate universe or maybe future where banks are going to be trading NFTs and stockbrokers are going to be trading NFTs. And in order for them to do so at the speed that they want, there needs to be better trading. So maybe you see like lightning quick, instantaneous transactions for NFTs that are derivatives or, God, I'm blanking on the name, when you kind of break up an NFT essentially and trade it for like minuscule amount. Yeah, fraction.
Stuff, yeah.
So they'll be trading like cents or dollars worth of Bored Apes, and that will be part of their balance sheet. And I think that's what Biggie was saying was like this is more geared toward traders in that environment. So
and at least for the time being, it's a noble cause, right? Like you're being rewarded for something that I know all three of us here believe in, which is like paying the royalty fees, right? Like supporting your artists, encouraging like this system to flourish. So I'm down with that for now. And
I'm down with that too. I'm down with that too.
yeah.
And look, I'm gonna get the airdrop. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm just saying, like, things that are promising fast money, I feel like we should all be skeptical of, and also be aware of Beanie's
always
involvement. But I do think it's cool though that like NFT trading is basically becoming its own profession. Like there's support for it. So it's like, hey. All the stuff that we've been doing, we really are pioneers in this new thing. Like some of the earliest professional NFT traders. It's kind of a cool thing just to think about it that way.
Yeah.
And Q, I just shared a link with you right there. Speaking of security and it being aware, GIF, I don't know if you checked out this new tool that came out, Pocket Universe. Really cool little extension. You just download it, put it in your it works with your MetaMask, and it basically analyzes whatever transaction you're going to do on MetaMask in like English. And it just tells you what it is that you're signing and what it is that you're doing. I think it's still a little bit better than MetaMask. And I encourage our audience to give it a try. Definitely have to be careful in this space, as you say.
Yeah, I just dropped that link there in the chat as well for those of you to take a look at. That has been an issue, right? Like you're signing transactions, you don't know what that's actually saying most of the time from like a code level of whether you're even, in some extent giving access to your wallet. So that's a good tool there, Biggie. I appreciate you bringing that up. Staying within the Blur conversation, I do want to get your take, GIF, on the royalty situation. So we've been having this discussion here for the last 2 weeks-ish, 2-3 weeks on Magic Eden, and there was some other information that came out overnight as well from the COO, I believe, of Magic Eden that basically said this is a race to zero, which is what we were kind of saying on NFT Live. But hold on. Blur is coming out with this model here where they're actually going to give more tokens to people who give the max royalty. So you actually it is optional. So someone could literally say, I don't want to pay the artist, I don't want to pay the creator this royalty, but then they get no reward. So this is kind of a open marketplace answer to the question that we've been asking, which is how do we get people to pay this?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's obviously complicated, especially at this point where we're at in the industry. I don't think it's black and white. I don't think there's necessarily right or wrong. I just know my own values and ethics and like what I believe is the right way forward, which is supporting artists, empowering artists, putting them at the center. And ideally working towards a place where artists' royalties are enforceable. I think incentivizing royalties is kind of like, it's like sort of like an in-between partial solution right now. And I think it's interesting, right? I think that's cool. I think it's better than just saying like, yeah, you get to decide all, whatever you want, traders, because we already know how that works out. When people have the option of paying more or less, they're going to pay less. Like, especially when you're anonymous, you're online, like, you know what I mean? It's like, they're not like, generally speaking, people are not going to pay artists royalties if it's just up to them to do it. And so that's not an acceptable solution in my opinion. And that's where Magic Eden is fucked up, because they're basically trying to just justify the fact that like market conditions are not set and there are not clear standards. And instead of like innovating or taking a stance, they're just saying, well, we have to compete with everybody else, so fuck it, let's race to zero. It's like, dude,
and
like,
this is why
I don't respect that. I get why you see that as your best option as a business and a marketplace. I understand why that is something that you're thinking. as you're looking at your volume. But making the decision that that is the best way forward, I absolutely disagree with. And so, you know, at least Blur is trying to create an incentive or do something
Yep.
else. And so that's good. Again, I think it's a partial in between answer. I don't think it's the right solution necessarily.
It's a lay down, right? It's a defeatist attitude towards
Yeah.
something that could be explored further, right? It's like, okay, we can't handle it. This is where it's like, come on now. You can't. I honestly think, and I would like to believe that down the line, we might see something like I've been thinking about it recently, Gif, and it's like, you know, remember like the first airdrops that started to happen and like the mad rush that came towards farming. It's only going to take a couple of like artists to be able to like look at their like their audiences or their buyers, collectors' wallets and be like, who paid fees and who didn't, and reward the ones that did. To really like significantly to really shift these things into a different direction, you know, and if that doesn't work, you keep trying something else. But I agree with you, like you can't take that defeated stance immediately and just throw up your hands and say we can't do anything about it. Come on, what do you mean you can't?
Well, exactly. Like the marketplaces have a say. We as buyers we are the market and we are developing these new standards in this industry in real time. And so to your point about just throwing up your hands and saying, well, capitalism is capitalism, that's how it's always going to be, that's fucking bullshit. And so I like the way you put that. But also to add another layer, Flubberoni is pointing out that images on Blur are smaller and the focus is obviously on trading and not really enjoying art or appreciating art or collecting art at all. And again, it's like we're moving very quickly, it seems right now, into the purely sort of financialization, focusing on traders, empowering traders with a lot of this stuff. And from a marketplace perspective, I get why that is. But if we just entirely like get away from the artist part of this, like that's to me where it gets.
Yeah, we're just evolving. Like there's going to be different parts of this industry, right? There's going to be a part for traders. There's going to be a home for creators. Like there's going to be all these different marketplaces, I think, that serve each subgroup, right? So I just don't think that like Blur launching is like a negative to the overall, you know, creator industry and creators in the NFT space. So
competition's good. And the fact that they're trying something new and adding incentives and adding more competition to people like Magic Eden is good. That's
I love to see it play out in real time too. Like this Blur response is like a very open way, you know, without setting any guidelines. Another marketplace said, hey, this is what we're doing to attract creators, you know, and then there's going to be probably another marketplace that launches that says we're going to do it even better than Blur. And it just, hopefully that is the way forward. So dude, great points there from both of you guys. Great points from the chat as well. Marty McFly saying artist has 50 ETH in art sold in a year at 10% royalty, so they get 5 ETH. If their art is good, could they not just sell one piece for 5 ETH? I just think that when the math's involved, it's not the same issue. Those are two different things though, because again, that like royalties on that artwork that you're getting 10% on can continue to generate wealth for decades or the rest of your life, or even for your family in the future versus a one-time sale. Like they're very different things. And I mean, Marty's always going to be over here throwing stones from the sidelines, which I appreciate. I like the perspective. I just think that they're different things. And just saying like, oh, well, why doesn't the artist just make a one-time sale of 50 ETH and then just suck it up? Well, it's like, that's not really the point. You know, it's about creating a system of, you know, of receiving residuals on the work that you've done, a way to get paid the way that you want to for the hard work that you've done, you know, for however long. The royalty discussion and the discussion we're having about the, you know, tradification of NFTs, I feel like they're happening at the same time, which is interesting. Like you could look at this where Blur is launching and we're seeing the Magic Eden royalties. Like these are both related. Like the space is moving.
Competing. Yeah. There's competing factions here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The traders, there's the traders, and there's
but
the creators.
Traders didn't have anything before, is what I'm trying to say. Like they had to be on OpenSea trading in not a way that they were normally able to do, like you can do on any other, trading book, order book, all this stuff. So when this stuff comes into the creator space, creators are like, what the fuck, man? This doesn't look like what I came into the space for.
Well, traders have, they've been able to do peer-to-peer. Like there's been ways around it, or
that's OTC trading
ways.
though. That's not trading on an open order book.
But see, like and I'm all for it. I'm all for the financialization and like powering that forward, driving forward the ability for more trading to be happening and for everybody to be winning. The tools, the infrastructure, all that shit's really exciting to me. What this comes down to though is that, like, if you're just throwing out what the creators who have been building in this space have been fighting for to empower, like, you know what I mean? Like you have to find a way to empower traders with cool tools and incentives without just disenfranchising the artists again. Because literally, like, all those artists are coming from a world where they haven't had this type of this avenue to capture their value, right? This has been a revolution and a digital renaissance for artists because of the opportunity, whether it's big or small right now, the opportunity is there for them to create generational wealth. And if you're just saying like, oh, fuck you, the traders are coming in and that's how it's going to be now, like, that's to me a massive loss for humanity.
Biggie, your audio's clicking, man.
Sorry. What we're trying to do is create new economic models, right? Like, that's the whole point of crypto, that it enables this, and it requires some finesse, right? Some experimentation. But again, it's like, okay, to just stick to the old, well, then why crypto anyways, right? That's bogus.
Yes, exactly.
It feels like it's almost like we're getting industrialized a little bit, right? Like it's almost like when it gives talking, it reminds me of like maybe how farmers felt when the farming industry got industrialized. Like, let's keep organic farming and let's make sure that we don't get taken advantage of and all of these different things. And that industry, of course, we know where that went. There's still like a good subset of people who do, organic farming and all this stuff, but mainly it's industrialized like 99%. So, I mean, we've been having the creator versus trader debate almost. That's what it's become as we've seen these pieces kind of move into the industry. So, we'll move on to the next topic here. Appreciate you joining today. I will get to some of the comments here in chat as well. Please leave a like, please leave a sub as we get into our next topic. Originally we were going to move into Rate My Bags. Rate My Bags is like an ongoing segment that can continue on into the future, of course, maybe even on like a monthly basis. I figure we have this is Thursday, this is the last episode of the week. Let's do a little bit of Rate My Influencer here. Like we already
I like this.
We already talked about this stuff, so we already have like fodder in the hopper here for us to start putting up the list. So we want your input as well in chat, please. If you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, Twitter, you got to somehow figure out a way to get us a message here, maybe in our Discord. But hop in, tell us who we should be ranking. But I'll let you guys take it away. I will look up on Twitter as well for whatever you guys decide. Who are we starting with?
So I wanted to clarify real quick. What the Kansas is asking if the S is for someone we like or someone that's effective.
Oh, here we go into guidelines.
The definitions. Yeah, I mean, we always have to be extremely scientific with these segments. So yeah, I would say all of the above. You could be especially effective at one thing or the other, but if you have real influence, actual influence, I think that's what matters. But I mean, for me, a lot of it comes down to having like the long-term sustainable value-driven approach, and not just being about shilling your bags.
Wow. But for example, we have Musk there, who's a founder and I guess, yes, influencer.
I'm just loading it up, guys. Again, if you made it to this part of the episode, we want your input. This is not like quick hits. We're gonna move on to the next topic. We are getting involved. Rate my influencer right now.
Flover, the challenge. I'm a fan of Zeneca. I definitely think he goes up at the top.
Zeneca definitely came up in the show today. How are we gonna get into, like, I feel like we're gonna end up with just our like the top tier ones on here and not get into the people that we think are the actual thought
Oh,
leaders. But
what do you,
yeah.
wait, what?
Well, because there's people like Cas Vegas, there's people like Cake Nygaard, people that we talked about
I
on
see what
today's
you mean.
show that, yeah, and so I feel like we're just going to be focusing on a lot of like the
So,
Gary V's. Like
so
Gary V to me is S tier because he's one of the biggest and is actually doing a lot of good
I'm
in
shocked.
general.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, of course. I'm sipping. Marty McFly, come flame me, bro. Flame me in the comments, Marty. Let's go. But I think again he has set a standard that's very very hard to match, and especially specific to NFTs. Like Elon Musk, you could argue is some kind of crypto influencer just because he talks about crypto sometimes and the size of his platform. But like he's not really an NFT influencer at all.
I think it's like almost trickled down there because he does have an effect on maybe Ethereum, for example. So we're all kind of interacting with Ethereum every day. I think that's a trickle down influencer, and it's also a meme. So S rating for Nifty Q and Ronan back for early for me. Yo, sheesh. Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah. Marty
For
says
Rogue.
it's too easy now.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if we're putting Gary Vee up there, we definitely need to put Kevin Rose up there as well. I would say. I just gotta say.
Kevin Rose didn't. Yeah, we didn't mention Kevin on this morning's show. That's a good one. That's an interesting one for sure.
Farouk's coming up here. Farouk.
No comment.
Interesting.
Art Chick is another one that I was gonna bring up this morning. I don't really follow Art Chick because I got the sense that she basically was just pumping a bunch of kind of crappy projects. So she definitely, yeah, G Money seems like a decent one worth considering. I don't know, like again,
Look away, GIF.
Oh,
fuck off. So somebody please in comments enlighten me on Art Chick because my understanding is they're just a shillfluencer and they just basically pump a bunch of random projects.
Yo, I want to go back to that original comment you pointed out, GIF, by Don R, who was asking like what, or I think it was to Kansas. Is it someone we like or is it someone that's effective? I think it has to be a mixture of both, right? Like if we want to get down to actually finding that good mix, I think it has to be a mixture of both, or else it would just be people we like up at the S tier. So
true.
This is interesting speculation right here. Has it been proven that Art Chick is not Beanie Maxi? I have no idea. On that one. It could be.
See, for me, my approach, like if you're gonna be in the B, A, or S category, like you can't just be a shiller. You have to be either like a creator in the space or you're like actually adding thoughtful commentary. Like if you're just shilling, then you belong in the C and D category.
okay,
Not to say that I'm against shillers,
So
there's some good ones.
we gotta get some women on here. Right now I'm seeing a bunch of dudes.
well, you don't know. You don't know.
Well, that's
actually
true.
do. All right,
most of these.
So I'll put Josie up on here as well because I'm a big Josie Bellini fan. But other women that you'd like me to add, please shout them out right now.
Well, Yam Kark. Oh, Betty, definitely Betty from Deadfellas. 1000% Betty. Yam Karkai, I think she's comes up on a lot of the big lists. She's the artist behind World of Women, which is one of the only women-led projects that's quote unquote blue chip. At least in that consideration set of blue chip projects. So I think Yam Karkai could be put up here. Again, people to me like Cas Vegas and Jen Stein are great, but they're not as well known as some of these bigger names. So I don't know how far we're going to be going.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep adding to this list, but we have like a good kind of, I guess I wouldn't even call it a good base, but we have enough to start ranking them. So let's start with Gary Vee then. Obviously, Gary Vee. Where should Gary Vee be? Is that an S tier influencer in your opinion?
S tier.
I would probably agree. Yeah.
Well, because if he has to be, because if not, who would you put above him in terms of his effectiveness, actually being into NFTs, being a founder, actually trying
But
to
what do you
educate
think?
on board.
So, what do you think is his biggest contribution to the space?
Ooh.
Onboarding.
I mean, just yeah. I think overall, pound for
The
pound, Gary V is
education
the
of
biggest
like how to
piece.
use the wallet and everything that he went through.
So VCon, yeah. So onboarding, bringing in thousands of new people into the space in a good way, and educating and onboarding through just talking about it ad nauseum on a million different fucking videos with people. Creating Vayner3, having his own agency and bringing a bunch of brands into the space. And so that larger awareness and like not just onboarding people, retail consumers, but also bringing in massive brands and investment and development into the space. And then VCon. VCon is like, again, at the forefront of what an NFT Web3 conference looks like. So those are just a couple.
At the end of the day, he gives a lot of reputation and affirmation to the space to people that aren't in Web3, right? Like they see that he's doing it. They're like, okay, yeah, like Gary can be kind of shilly sometimes. We know that how he likes to get in his talks and things like that, but he's doing it and he's not, it wasn't a complete rug. So,
bro, Marty's flaming us so hard, mostly me.
What is he saying?
Gary's good at sitting on the pedestal for others to simp at. Thank you, Marty. Appreciate these comments always. Keep them coming.
I don't disagree with that. Like, I think he's not a good conversationalist. He is very good at getting his point across, and sometimes I think like when you put him next to other people, it's fucking annoying because like he doesn't shut the fuck up. It's like short, succinct, let other people talk. You know.
Here's a counterpoint to Marty's negative comments about Gary. Jason says Gary's biggest contribution by far is getting people to see the bigger picture rather than encourage the quick flippers. And yeah, that's again. I think he's focused on long-term sustainability, which is part of what I look for in actual influencers. So I agree, Jason. Thank you for that point.
All right, I don't know why we couldn't get a solid picture of Zeneca, but for whatever reason, his is like a trading card. But anyways, I would put Zeneca somewhere. Like it's tough to put him on the category of Gary V. I'd say like A. I'd probably be comfortable with. I'd agree Zeneca
with
here.
that. I'd agree with that, and like being his biggest contribution being, I think, education. He is really, really good at explaining and taking the time with his followers to show them the ropes, right, and like keep them safe and everything. He's really, I think, like right now for me, like one of those guys that is like just like stand-up guy. Like, you know, he'll tell you what it is, how it is.
Yeah, shout out to Jason Moffat here in chat as well, who's talking about Gary V as well. But yeah, Biggie, appreciate that comment there on Zeneca. I think we're vibing there on having him at A. Dickenza is saying Zeneca will continue to build and surpass. Okay, I need a couple more that we can put on here. I think we're pretty comfortable having Zagabond near the end of this list, correct? Let's see if just for now we'll keep him in the lowest tier just for the fact that I wouldn't call him openly rugged. Yeah. I wouldn't call it openly rugged.
He learned
PhD
a ton.
learning.
He learned a lot, but he made even more. Yeah. So that's Franklin is bored, right? The Gold Ape.
Yeah, I've got some beef with Franklin. I'd probably put him lower on the list. I'm just not a big fan of just shilling your bags incessantly. But
so let's go just to Josie then. Josie is an A or an S. I would say an A.
I'd be comfortable. I don't think she's in that tier with. It's tough because we have Gary at the top. He's so influential. I mean, at the
you more than anything, like I guess she's barely starting doing her content and like education and like really. I mean, she's good at spreading her thoughts and everything, but I guess maybe she's more of a creator than an influencer or a shiller or educator. If you want to put her in B, that's fine.
No, I like her at A. It's just tough to move her in that realm, which I don't know who gets in this realm with the amount of influence when you go the amount of people that Gary reaches and the reputation he does have in the space. It's tough. I don't know how I turned into a simp, but
it's not simping.
Well, but it's true, not a amount of like reach, right? Like I mean, that's like just how many followers he has, or I mean, there's people that are I guess up to his level. I think like more than anything, devoted to the space, contributes frequently, and has done good stuff for it. Where would you guys put Musk? I'm curious to say. I know.
I think Musk goes in like a C. Like he's got massive platform, but he's not really NFTs, and he's not really. I don't know.
Okay,
He's a
okay, yeah.
massive influence, but he's not really like an NFT influencer, and
He's
he's
not.
not really
That's
like,
true. He's not into in NFTs, but man, between the stuff he's doing with Twitter and I mean his Dogecoin contributions, whatever you may think of Dogecoin, like man,
all right.
just
So you think a
putting the
B? You think he
spotlight on the
deserves
power
B?
of memes.
I think we need this list to kind of
Okay,
come together. I could see Musk moving down the list here
all
as
right.
we like fill this list out. But I completely am with you on like his indirect influence on everything we're doing. Like if he owns Twitter, Jesus Christ,
I'm cool.
like
I'm cool. Put him in B. He's got to fucking fail at something, right? He's failing here. Fuck it.
Don says Musk goes in both S and D. That's an interesting take. I like
so
that.
right in the middle. Then let's take the
Yeah,
mean there.
B. So there you go. He averages a B for sure.
Okay, Franklin is bored. Listen, I just don't like people I just don't like his vibe. But I'm not going to hold that against him. He seems like a nice guy when it comes to it. I haven't seen him like openly rug
He's not
anything.
focused. He's not really like an open rug, but he's not focused on necessarily providing, broad value or building anything sustainable. It seems like he's just a capitalist trying to, like an opportunist within the Bored Ape ecosystem who's built a lot of clout because he's one of the biggest traders in Bored Apes. That's my take
Okay,
on it. So like yeah.
okay. I have
Dude, a lot
someone
of
that
great comments. Go ahead.
I just thought of somebody that goes up in the S column, and we didn't even put him in there. I can't believe it. Punk 5629.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
he
that
definitely
dude goes
should be
up
on
there.
here. That I think he
S
should be
tier.
S tier. S tier
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
I think Franklin at a C is probably fine, and probably honestly I'd put Beanie in there with him because Beanie still has a ton of influence just by the nature that like him showing up literally through the whole NFT Twitterverse into a fucking tizzy. So he clearly has influence in the space, but it's clearly just not a great influence and a great track record. So I don't think we should really,
I
I don't
will
know. That's
say
my
this,
opinion.
Nifty. It kind of bugs me that Gary Vee goes before Punk 5629. Like he doesn't even have an NFT as his profile pic. Come on now. Like move that motherfucker away.
Are
Like,
you sure? Is Gary
I,
V's? Let me see Gary V's
yeah, yeah,
Twitter.
yeah. I think Gary Vee's also a marketer. Like like
Yeah.
he's got a lot of things. Punk 5629 is 100% just NFTs.
We
So
So
just for that,
so
we've
moving,
got a
fine.
Twitter header though. We've got a Twitter header.
you just got to
Not good
flip.
enough.
Yeah, put Book 5629 before Gary, and then we're okay. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm with
please.
that.
Yeah.
I get it.
Is this like the
It's
one
all
ring
about
that rules them all? Like who's the number one influencer is what we have to get down to. 5629's up there, but I don't know if we crown him.
Oh well, we're still missing DC Blogger and NFT God.
Yeah, I like DC Blogger.
Yeah, DC Blogger's cool.
Shillin
He's
Villain is gonna see this and then throw a hissy fit because he's LeBron James and be like, "How do you not have LeBron James on on your list?"
So I'm going to add someone to this list that was very controversial when brought up on the GM Web3 show this morning, and that is Pranksy. So
Hell yeah.
Pranksy being brought up this morning. I mean, again, I think when you brought it up, I was like, Pranksy's kind of the class of 2021 when it comes to NFTs. Like he definitely has not the influence he had back in those days when NBA Top Shot and a lot of the other these. I think he owned a lot of Bored Apes. Yeah. So Pranksy, I feel like almost from a provenance perspective needs to be higher up on this list. But again, the guidelines, here we go. Like he kind of was a shillfluencer. He was kind of not the best from a reputational standpoint. So does that hurt him?
Keep him at B
influencer
for now. For now.
But like how?
Might
Okay,
drop.
wait. When was the last time? When was the last time that any sort of big movement, activation, like conversation revolved around Pranksy?
I don't know.
I think his claim to fame is just like the whole Bored
it was-
Apes and Top Shot
yeah.
thing, and then from there,
But that,
everybody listens to what he has to say. But again, like providing value, like thoughtful commentary, stuff like that, not so much maybe.
so personally, I don't put Pranksy alongside Elon Musk. I think Pranksy's
Mm.
alongside Franklin and Beanie.
Oof.
I got
I don't know
another
if
one.
I can do that. I don't know.
I got another
Pranksy
one.
meant way more to the space than both of those guys.
I got
All
another
right.
S tier for you. Kobe.
Oh, okay. I brought up Kobe on
does
today's,
be an S.
but Kobe's
goes on
more of
it.
a crypto influencer, I think.
True, but even then, he does, cross the chasm and start talking about NFTs. He's the guy that literally said it's just a token with a picture on it, which I as simple for many of us as it may be, like it really clarified stuff for a lot of people. I mean, I appreciate his candor. Like he's always just, he articulates well and doesn't lie. So yeah, I put him up there and so far.
A couple other good ones coming in from the chat here. Sartoshi, I saw was mentioned. We didn't talk about Sartoshi. I do think that's an interesting one potentially. And then hello, I'm Morgan. As far as getting some more women up on here, I would say she definitely qualifies as an influencer, somebody to include, and we definitely need more women. So yeah, maybe we throw. Morgan
I actually
in here.
I couldn't find the woman that you were talking about earlier on. I needed
Which
a
one?
Twitter profile.
Yeah, I said Kevin Rose.
Well, you
Joseph,
mentioned a couple.
we're bringing him.
You mentioned a couple. What did you mention early on?
Kevin Rose.
No, woman.
Well, as far as women, I mean, I know I talked about like Cass Vegas and
Before
Jen,
that.
Betty. Wait, we got Betty on there, I think. Let's throw hello, I'm Morgan on here at least. I think she qualifies
To look at my
for
list.
sure. Mumbot, okay, Mumbot could be on here. I like throwing an artist on here. She's pretty influential in the space. It's a great other woman to throw in there.
Any of you guys familiar with AKA Stevie? Like one of our
No.
Bloomberg proof people.
Oh,
She's
Paris,
pretty knowledgeable.
yo, Paris Hilton is actually a good one to put in here and see where we.
Who said that?
Oh,
Who
yeah,
said
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Was that just you, Gib?
Jason.
Jason.
Yeah. I don't know who Susan Cummings is, but Flubber's shouting out Susan Cummings.
Ooh.
I don't know who that one is.
I'm
Okay.
Yeah,
where
I
would you
would- I
put?
mean,
Where would you put? Where would you put? Paris at GIF.
I think probably an A or a B.
What?
One of those two.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't put her at the bottom for sure, but oh man,
Dude,
I mean,
okay,
again, are you
let
talking
me-
about reach? Like
I'm talking
like
about
on-
reach, but I'm also talking about like she's actually been very, very positive on the space, like going on late night shows, talking up NFTs. She's been actually showing up to conferences, being part of the community, going into like clubhouse rooms since the beginning. Like I think like look, I was never a Paris Hilton fan. Again, like I know I'm gonna get blown up as like fucking simping for Paris here. I just think that like when celebrities are actually showing up consistently, actually going into rooms, showing up at conferences to like hang out with the community, trying their best to go and educate people, I just think that we should give them credit where it's due and
For
not
sure.
just
for
them
sure.
for
But I
no
think
reason.
like to give her like the A and S credit, I
Yeah.
mean, you got to be
I didn't say
on
S.
another
Whoa,
level.
who
You
said
really got to
S?
understand
Who said
NFTs.
S?
Oh, I thought you
Yo,
did.
no, I said
Oh,
A
okay.
or
But
B.
you put
A or B.
B. I'd be cool with B.
I would be.
That's fine. A
I would be
is
cool with
still
B
a
too.
little.
I would
You
be
got to
cool.
talk better. Like I think like I mean if you asked her like explain NFTs to me or like what's the latest thing that you're interested in or is there another change, like I feel like she'd kind of get stuck there. Like she's more of a, like you said, positive for the space, definitely a good spokesperson, but I don't know.
Yo,
I think
even Marty McFly, the guy
that's
who's
where you
been
guys agree on.
slaying me, dude, Marty McFly just
A?
said Paris is an A, bro. Just saying.
Well, but are you
I
talking
don't.
about like
I just
what are
don't
you
think
rating her
Paris.
on, Marty? What precisely are you rating her on? The videotape? For sure. A.
Wow, bro, we're not going. We're not
I feel
going
like
there,
the
bro.
A. I feel like the A B tier here or the SA tier here needs to be almost people that are in full time. You know, for the most part, that's where I look at Paris, and she's not in it full time because she has so much other shit she's doing, but she's doing a lot of positives for the space. So I feel like the SA tier needs to be full time people almost.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
That's fair.
Yo, we're
Uh,
having one that we're having a little bit of disagreement on here is Kobe being in or A tier, and then we had I think that was it from a
I
I
don't
guess we
know
could
Kobe. I don't know Kobe, so it's hard for me to imagine that they're on the level of Punk
I
6529 and
would I
Kobe.
would maybe I'm fine if we dropped him to A. I did like somebody's here like the Kansas said like he doesn't care about NFTs. He's hard on NFTs. He's got his doubts, but I appreciate that, like, and he does own them and he does buy them and he does investigate them and every night and when he does comment on them, it's not just like an opinion, like it's thoughtful. I would definitely keep him at an A. Like he's relevant, he's kind of like polarizing. I understand, but definitely full time in the space.
Natalie Crew is an interesting choice. She is definitely a dope woman in the space, super OG. Definitely a flame spitter. Like she calls it like it is, and I would love to see where she goes in here. Shout out Natalie Crew.
yeah,
Fucking goat.
100% shout out.
She's a goat.
I'm sure she's showing up to Speakeasy tonight, which we have to get you guys the link there before this episode is over. Speakeasy
6
is
p.m.
tonight, 6
Let's
p.m.
go.
or 9 p.m. if you actually are on the better side
Yo,
of the United States.
who knows what's gonna happen? Does Kane even show up? Who knows? This is gonna be an epic mystery to see what actually happens on Speakeasy tonight. You do not want to miss that. Will Kane be alive and present for Speakeasy? We don't know.
It
But yeah,
sucks when your
Natalie
show.
Crew. Yeah,
Go ahead.
Natalie Crew is probably like straight up like called out so many of these people to their faces, like in spaces. Like
Yeah.
I bet she's straight up told most of the people on this list like what's what.
Agreed. Benjamin, I think for me goes on B. I don't think he's in the tier of A or S with the reach that he has. Just when I look at those people up at the top, maybe he comes close to Josie, but Josie again is just like a complete OG for me. Like CryptoKitties even OG. So I would put Benjamin at B, but I'm open to hearing y'all's opinion here.
I don't really follow them much. I don't so like it's hard for me again to grade them really highly. I've heard of them. I think I follow them on Instagram, but I haven't been influenced by any way by them.
Red Phone Crypto. Let's see.
So here's another comment in
Ender.
chat. Prodigy saying Mila Kunis had her own NFT with Stoner Cats. What do we think, Biggie?
Yeah,
I think she's cute, but she's part time. Like I mean, I'll put fucking Austin Kutcher there before I put her. Like I mean, he's done stuff for the space, but again, like NFT and other stuff, right? But again, not full time, neither of them. But yeah, DC investor, I definitely think should be here.
Yep.
And I mean, if somebody, I think the Kansas put there like 3AC, which like if we want to put a couple of douchebags up there, like there were more DeFi and everything, but hey. Are we still like waiting for that wallet to liquidate? The 3AC wallet? I think we are, right?
Yeah. I think we need to keep this more like NFT influencer or NFT focused than like DeFi investor focused because that's a whole other thing.
But NFT God, I think, is good. He's been doing good. Spencer.
DCL blogger think he belongs in probably an A, just on like the reach that he has inside the ecosystem.
Yeah. I think so.
I don't know. I think though Betty should be an A. Straight up, she's doing awesome work. She's one of the like actually native builders showing up every day for the community, providing good value, who's very long term focused. And yeah, shout out Betty with the Dead Fellas.
Marty McFly is saying Mila's down with Franklin and Seth Green week. This great comments coming through. Baron Von Hustle is brought up. Let's see. I appreciate y'all bringing up a little bit of Lindsay Lohan. Thank you for that. Let's see. Kevin Rose we haven't put up there. Where does Kevin Rose belong on this list, guys?
I'll let you guys decide because I'm biased, obviously.
Well, what your bias says he's like S tier? Is that what you would say?
Yeah.
I think
and if you argue that like he's not as known or prevalent as like the other two that are up there, I'd agree with that too. He's not. He's like bottom of the list as far as shillfluencers, or anything in the space. But if you look at his investments and the stuff that he's done to bring this space forward, I mean, he's a fucking like. So I would put him before Gary Vee. I'm sorry, Jeff, but I would.
Oof.
I definitely wouldn't put him before Gary Vee, but I do think there's an argument for him to be S tier, for sure.
So Kevin Rose also has like 4 different looks. There's like 4 different dudes in this one picture. Kevin Rose has had the most physical transformations. I mean, this looks like this guy doesn't even look the same. We got like 3 different looks here from Kevin Rose. So we'll get you up there, Kevin. Do we decide on an actual
quantum variant? Quantum variant
put
says
put his PFP up, man. He's got a cool bird.
Okay. Speaking of birds, by the way, we're talking about Biggie's bags here. Biggie, I need a thumbnail shot for you, man. We keep using the bird.
Oh, I like that you use my bird, man. It looks cool. It but you need a person, huh?
I mean,
am I supposed to come out doing like funny faces and stuff? Because I see that you guys are always doing like supposedly that helps the algo or something.
We don't go full like there's yes, I'm pulling that. So right now on screen, we're gonna need you to do that. All right, Kevin Rose is bird. I almost said pigeon. To those to those moonbird holders. Let's see. What do we got?
He's either S or A. He's either S or A. Joseph, quantum variant, thinks he's not S because he only is working in his own community.
Not true. Not true, man. Like, look what he's done with fucking Bright Moments, with art blocks, like with his podcast, Proof Podcast. I mean, I think he's a lot more committed to the space. Like, this is his sole job. Whereas, again, Gary Vee has a whole bunch of other industries that he's got his finger on, like Web3 and NFTs is just one of them. Kevin Rose has been in this 100% as an investor, as a creator, and now as a founder, man. Like, come on. Like, and look, he's even got a PFP as, an NFT as a PFP, unlike your friend there, dude. So what's more Web3 than that?
All right. I just pinned a poll there. So you guys will vote for Kevin Rose, A or S. It is on YouTube. I'll figure out how the Twitch shit works with the polls. But
vote. You did this to me.
Yo, are we on Twitch?
On crypto Twitter.
We are on Twitch.
Twitter. Don't let me down.
Let's go. We're on fucking Twitch, y'all.
All right, that's going to be up for like the next, I would say, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. So get your vote in for Kevin Rose, S or A. We have Sartoshi here. We have Natalie Crew. I feel like Natalie, I want to put her higher than C, but I feel like maybe the reach isn't there. Is that like, here's where we get I mean,
she's either a B or a C. I don't like lumping her with like Franklin.
That's what I'm saying.
But objectively, she's not as well known or big, so I think it's fair. Like people in C don't have to just be shillfluencers; they can be legit too. So I think C is fair. But you know what?
Yeah, but give her some distance from the shillfluencers.
Yes, I will.
I mean, respect to her for even being on here. The reason she's on here is because she's been very influential within our community. She's an OG. She speaks truth to power, and that's why she deserves to be on here at all. She's a fucking ledge as far as I'm concerned. You know what? I'm not making the list. Natalie Crew is.
What about OXB1? We haven't brought up OXB1 either.
Kane
Kane
Mayfield.
Mayfield.
Where's Kane Mayfield on this list, baby? If he shows up.
Yeah, if he shows up, probably next to Natalie. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're all biased here. Let's throw Kane in S tier. Fuck it.
Biggie, what were you getting at?
Oh no, I was just bringing up other people like OXB1 and People Pleaser. Like those are two people that I think are deserve to be in the charts.
People keep bringing up Mark Cuban, and I kind of agree. Mark Cuban, if he belongs on here, he's like D tier because he is kind of a rug, and like literally he got his company kicked off of Instagram for just rugging the whole fucking community. So yeah, I don't like platforming Mark Cuban in the NFT space personally, but he is obviously a big name with a lot of reach.
All right, here's a big one here, and I'll bring up Mark Cuban as well. Here's probably one that's going to be, I'm thinking, controversial. Beeple.
True that.
Beeple is very, he's very influential within NFTs. Very influential within NFTs, and he's an artist, and I think generally speaking has a long-term perspective. And you know what? Shout out Beeple too, because he actually shows up for the community and interacts, engages with artists. I would put him maybe at an A, honestly.
Wow.
B or higher.
I could see S.
Higher.
I could see S for Beeple.
I could totally see S for people. Like he literally he's the guy that put NFTs on, like him, Snowfro, and fucking Tyler Hobbs.
So
like,
let's go then.
Those are like the OGs, but Beeple, I think he really brought it to the masses, right? Like, I mean, yeah, for sure.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna throw it on a poll again. Also, the poll for Kevin Rose just closed, and he's gonna be down today. So, not a lot of Kevin Rose fans in the chat.
Twitter.
All right, we're gonna keep Beeple over here. We're gonna put out a poll that says S or A for Beeple. Although all three of us agree on S for Beeple, or
I do.
I think you could definitely make an argument for him being S tier because again, like so much of the space, the way that it is now, was formed around his initial sale. Like literally, that was the headline that got NFTs on the map in the first place. And he's still incredibly influential. He shows up.
I appreciate that, Nifty.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And also, honestly, if you think about it, everything, all the money that he's made, he pours it back into the space, which is
he's reinvesting.
Humongous. Exactly.
He's reinvesting. He's creating a studio. Yeah, I agree with all that. He's legit.
All right, I got one that also is going to be class of 2021 here that I actually brought up on GM Web 3. This is going to be Whale Shark. Another guy that was super influential on the last cycle. Don't see much from him now. Because of that fact, I think he had an outsized influence on both NFTs and social tokens, man. Like he was big on the social token front. So for that reason, I'll probably put him at B. He should be higher, but he's just not around.
Should he be higher? I don't know. What? Okay,
he's like barely made it to B.
So yes, Whale Shark I know was very influential in 2021. However, I'm not clear on like the actual value that was created there. Like it's felt to me very financially driven, a lot of shilling. And it's not. I actually I know he has a community. I'm not in the community. Yeah. I know he has a community that was pretty active. So maybe there's a lot of value being created there. I just don't know. But so that would be my question with Whale Shark is like with all that influence, what was created with all of that? Was it all just about shilling and making a bunch of money at the end of the day, or was there actually some kind of creation, positive, anything positive, really?
So I will get again. I wasn't going to find myself coming to Whale Shark's defense. Actually, I don't like that he didn't stay around. I think it's like a little bit disingenuous of the things that he was saying when he was here. On that, it was going to be like a generational thing, and he was going to be around for a long time. And NFTs and Web3 were his scene, and then he's essentially been very quiet. But the community did have. What's that?
Maybe he invested in Luna.
Yeah, maybe then he needs to come back and make some more money. But he was great at the. I would point to the NFT vault that Whale had. So their social token was backed by a vault of NFTs. It really drove home the value prop for NFTs in like a financial sense. There were a lot of artists. I think Asmodai saying there in the chat, promoting artists were a big thing there. You could like buy artist work with their social token Whale. So there were a lot of things that he was doing and he was innovating on with the social token NFT crossover. That's where I think it wasn't just kind of a shill fest, right? So it's tough that he's not around though, because that leans into did he have the right mindset when he was doing all this stuff?
Yo, we're still missing DC Investor.
DC Investor, okay.
And G Money.
Yeah, G Money. That's a good one. Yeah. Hello, I'm Morgan. I think deserves to be probably in B, in my opinion. Maybe A. I don't know. She's really active. If nothing else, like she's really consistent, showing up for the community. So she gets a lot of credit for being consistent and transparent.
Shit, what about Frank D. Gods? I mean, can't fade him, right? Especially with his lip.
Giv's gonna try to fade him.
Hey, I'm not, man. Where would you put him, Nifty? We know where Gift would put him.
I'm not in that ecosystem, man.
Frank de Gods is definitely class of 2022, has had a lot, like I would say way more attention and influence than they deserve this year as a totally anon, 23, 24-year-old dude. Who's kind of like a fucking, it's like Frank de Gods is at the intersection of shit posting and founder. That's where I put him. So wherever you want to put that, I think that's more like C tier is kind of where that is to me. But
yeah,
maybe even D.
Nah. He has innovated a little bit, right? Like with the curation game that he's been doing with Dust. I mean, there is some.
Where's Dust at? Like, can you fill me in on like Dust, because the only thing that I've heard about it,
no expert and not an owner of it. So I honestly, I'd rather not give my opinion. But I honestly, like, one of the first NFT projects that came out with a token, and like I think especially on Solana, I think it deserves some credit there. So and the launch with Youth, the mechanism. I mean,
some of these
creative, innovative.
Some of these things that Biggie's talking about too, like to your point, man, is like they were first to do something, and sometimes that comes off as a rug because it ends up just like being not working out or what have you. But it seems like a lot of the people that were saying were first sometimes come out that now we're sitting here kind of looking back retroactively, being like, damn, that didn't actually work out. So
yeah, I don't really, again, to that point, I don't really think Whale Shark should be on here because I don't know how relevant they are right now. But I guess they were super influential.
They made their mark.
Yeah,
right?
They definitely had a mark. Had a mark for sure.
It's like, were you the largest investor in Top Shot at the time? Like, you're going to be on this list. Like Frank C, Whale Shark, all those guys that were like super heavy in NBA Top Shot.
If you helped create what has become the NFT market and the NFT space, you definitely deserve some kind of credit for that.
Here, so guys, we're getting up to near the end of the episode here, but we're still gonna kind of look at this here. G Money was brought up, so G Money made it on the list. I don't know if Mark Zuckerberg should be close. I'm just gonna boycott him on this list.
Who brought that?
He's not really NFT focused either, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, let's keep him out.
How about Snoop Dogg? He's in Sandbox. He could
definitely be on here.
Look, if Paris is a B, then Snoop Dogg is definitely a B. Like, for sure.
It's almost like Snoop and his son have to be on the same picture, but because I think his son has a lot to do with his movements in the space.
Cosimo de Medici. Cosimo de Medici. Brought him up.
Yeah. That is not Snoop Dogg. I will die on this hill that is not Snoop Dogg. Dude, Snoop does not talk on like Cosmo does. There is no way that is Snoop Dogg. All right, so we got 6 on the list here.
All right.
Hit me with it.
Snoop is B or above, either A or B. I mean, that could be a vote. I don't know. What do y'all think? A or B?
I'll put that to a vote.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what happens.
G Money comes up on every single top influencer list, and I haven't really followed him, but I know that he's out there. He's been out there as an OG talking about the space, building in the space.
At least an
So
A, I would say. You know, I think his drop for his own personal NFT was very innovative. Again, using a PO app and all this stuff. It has yet to be seen what happens with Admit One and 90cc. But again, his stuff with the digifidgetals or whatever you guys are wanting to call them these days. I had to. I had to. Yeah, an A at least. No.
I can.
sure,
I'll put him up at A. I'll put him up at A. You guys think it? You guys think A? Both
sure.
of you said A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Okay.
don't know why it would be otherwise. And again, G Money is one of those names that is pretty synonymous with NFTs, and like any top influencer list, G Money's on it. So I don't know much about them, but I know that they're obviously pretty big in the space.
Someone that's not talked about because it's more business-like, which Gip was talking about. I think it makes sense in a way when you think of these people that are more on the trading side or more on the investing side. But I would make an argument for, because I personally like the guy and he's a friend of mine, is Yatsu from Animoca Brands. He's had a big influence in making a lot of I mean, Animoca Brands owns I think like 50, 60 companies in their portfolio at this time. Just big
But
influence.
That's
are
very
they
true, and I
like
think that one
yeah
should be like a rate your investor one, which we should do.
yeah?
That would be interesting. That
Yeah.
would be fun
I
to
feel,
do.
because that's kind of a different thing than somebody who's like out there, on Twitter or on, whatever social platform.
He gives a ton of
Um,
interviews and does a lot of stuff where he's on kind of mainstream media, right? CNBC and these things like that. So I agree with you though. It's not like the grassroots, maybe organic
but does
influencer that
any
we're
Man,
talking about.
these
does
things are
anybody know their
fun,
name
dude.
though? But does anybody know their name? Like that, I do feel like part of being an influencer is like when you say their name, like a lot of people have to be like, oh yeah, that person. Like I feel like that goes along like hand in hand
Mm.
with being a quote unquote influencer. Is like you have to be somewhat famous within the space. So like you're talking about impact. The person like they might
Mm.
be one of the biggest influencers behind the scenes or in terms of impact, but I don't know if that's the same thing.
Hmm.
But maybe to Biggie's point, we do a rate my investor or rate my VC
I
or
think that
like
would be
some
a great that
you
would be a
know
great session because I mean just from the value add, right? Like are you a great angel or VC that just, is constantly deploying in the space, or are you an actual like value add VC who gets involved and like, comments on the space? And so that I think that would be a great one. I'd love to do
Yeah.
that.
One guy that's not
Um,
talked about that is has been super influential in the space. Nobody fucking talks about this guy. Founder of Dapper Labs, founder of CryptoKitty, the team
oh
that made
fuck yeah.
CryptoKitties,
Can't
Roham.
pronounce his name,
I
but
can't
yeah.
pronounce his last name, but that dude. I mean, think
Yeah.
about the shit that he's created. NBA Top Shot and CryptoKitties, the top
And
like
Flow,
and Flow.
launched Flow. I mean,
Listen, CryptoKitties and Top Shot were both the number one like thing that launched NFTs in their respective cycles. So
but are they out there like in the space as a personality, talking,
advocating, yeah, no.
advocating? Who is maybe another one that might belong in here is Medved.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I could do that.
Okay, so now so pending we will have rate my investor and rate builder, like strictly
Rate
just
my
builders.
builder,
We should
yeah.
dedicate one to the builders, right?
That's actually
Rate my
builders.
dev, yeah. Rate my dev. Yeah. Who's that? Is that Medved?
That's Medved. Shout out to
I've
Medved.
never seen a photo.
Ever?
No, I guess not.
So he can't be an influencer then.
Yeah.
Sam
SBF.
Bankman-Fried.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, dude.
Yeah.
that recent thread really broke a lot of hearts there, huh?
All right, so we're gonna close down the Snoop Dogg piece as well. What did you take from that thread? I haven't read it yet.
I'm sorry?
What did you take
About
from that thread? I didn't read the SBF thread yet.
Honestly, I'm not. I really don't have much more thoughtful things to say than the reaction that everybody got. I understand the reaction. I got it too, which was like just what other people have been very bold about saying before is like decentralization is not the end all be all, and they're it baffles me too, man. I don't understand. I really it was a kick in the balls. But again, entitled to his opinion. I'm conflicted. I'm still processing that.
I got you.
Right?
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen, what Biggie's talking about is essentially the SBF tweet thread on regulation, I believe, just regulation in the space. He leaned more towards centralized regulation than I think most people want. And SBF, Marty McFly saying SBF is probably CIA at this point.
Dude, the DC investor has been going off on him, which I really respect. By the way, can we just put him up at S? Okay, fine. A. Okay. A is fine. I would have put maybe a couple of those at A, of course, but I'm partial to punks apparently.
Yeah. You secretly own one or what?
No, man. Fucking don't even remind me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I won't. We have a bunch here to get to. We'll wait for Gift to get back. Jimmy.eth is another one. Prodigy brought up Jimmy.eth. Another big influence. I mean, he launched, I believe, Avastars. He was one of the guys behind that. I think he's like secretly one of the Illuminati of the space. But you never again hear about the shit that he's still doing potentially. But Jimmy.eth goes in maybe that whale shark category.
I'd agree with that.
Okay,
I'd agree with that.
Sure. Also, the
DC
poll
blogger,
the poll was closed, and apparently the chat is super cynical on our placements because they moved Kevin Rose down, and now Snoop Dogg's down at B as well. Marty McFly saying D's at A, DC at B.
Why is Kevin Rose coming up again? Did you poll him again?
No, I'm saying that Kevin Rose was at S, and they wanted him at A, and so we had Snoop Dogg at A, and now they wanted him at B.
All right. That'll do. Do you agree with our placement of DC Investor at S? GIF?
That's another one that I'm not as familiar with. So
I'm not either.
I have
honestly.
to take y'all's word for it. If they have been coming up a lot in the show and in the chat this morning, so at least a lot of people look to them. But I'm not as familiar.
Here's maybe a controversial. I don't think it'll be controversial. Pio probably at A for what they're doing right now with the Nifty portal. I mean, they got a pretty fucking popular show, I would say, at least like currently.
So let's go down the list. Onboarding, definitely an A. Entertain, onboarding the show.
I kind of put Pio with like Morgan and a lot of those because I don't know that Pio is at the level of like a G Money or a Kevin Rose per se.
It's a little more entertainment and like not as much education, right? Like
it's I think it's pretty heavy just on flipping and floor prices too, right? But I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time in their show. I do have their token though. They have a very successful
I think B is
Discord.
Fair.
Yeah, I think for now, I think Pio is one of those ones that maybe in 2023 gets moved up to A. Just based on the trajectory that he's been on in the last year or so, right? That's one of those I'm Morgan. It seems to be somebody who's gaining a lot of traction, building a massive community. So I don't think that they're as big as some of those names. Like
too early to be an A. Yeah.
but I think has potential to be.
Gilgor Splar is saying, what about the Warwick bros? Kane Warwick was building synthetics back in the last cycle, and Kieran Warwick is building Illuvium, which I have to hop on my soapbox a little bit here. Like, gaming is getting absolutely shit on here just because it's a subset of the space. Like, Kieran Warwick would be an influencer, quote unquote, within the gaming sphere. But we're talking like overall
its own
NFT space. Yeah,
that's kind of like its own rate my thing. Like rate my investor, rate my builder, rate my dev, rate my game GameFi or something. Dude. Yeah, like I don't know, because that's its own thing, and I actually don't see as much crossover yet as I think we all anticipate there to be. It seems like a lot of people that are really heavy into gaming like to focus more of their time there, and then a lot of people that are into collecting and trading NFTs are not as focused on gaming yet because it's just not quite as the utility's not all there.
Yeah. Someone who's been a content creator for a long time, and I agree with the overall sentiment there, GIF. But I do want to shout out Cryostaking, one of my like favorite influencers over the last like 4 or 5 years. I would put him on the C level. He does a lot of game related content, and he's been doing so for a while. One of my personal favorites. If you are interested, Kagyan's another one who's super influential in that sector. So I'll put Cryostaking up here.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, guys from Bankless. I think the guys from Bankless. I don't even know their names, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's the problem is like we don't know their names yet. So it's like they are, again, that's to me kind of like the your friend from Animoca. Again, I don't remember their name. So I think that the guys from Bankless, again, I think they have the potential to become quote unquote influencer / personalities because they are putting their faces and their names out there a lot more now, and they obviously have a big platform. But right now, like I have no idea what their names are. I don't know what their PFPs are. I don't know what their handles are. I watch them sometimes. I do watch them sometimes.
Okay, Ryan and Brian. It looks like are their names. So yeah, tough to remember those. All right, I do want to point out here, GIF. Are they not influencers if you don't know them? Couldn't they be large influencers?
So obviously. So this is super scientific, as we all know, and part of the algorithm here is like whether or not when you say their name, are they famous enough in the space? I'm a pretty, obviously I don't know everybody. Like obviously I don't know everybody, but I'm a pretty solid, generally like pretty good litmus test of like names in the space because I've been so deep into it for 2 years. So there's at least a high chance if I haven't heard of you at this point that you're not. So that is again highly scientific. The algorithm is constantly being tweaked
in your brain.
In our brains. But I again, DC Investor is an example of somebody that's at S tier right now that I don't really know much about. So there's room for people to be on here that I don't know. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I do think, again, generally, most of the big names and influencers that have been in the space, making big moves, creating things, like I've heard of them at least.
Yeah. It's tough because everybody's going to have like blank spots, right? Like Kobe is a huge name in my opinion, and there are people that are on your list that I have no, like even DC Investor. I don't know about DC Investor. So like that's someone I don't know, and I should potentially, but everybody's going to have those blank spots. I do want to get this one really quick. What do we think here? Big. What a shot.
D tier. What's below D tier, bro? I'm not on this list. I don't belong on this list.
Right between Zagabond and fucking Franklin.
No. You guys could chill out together, dude. Nah. Yeah. How about this guy? Hold on. I got another one. I'm the
fucking LeBron James of not.
That's a handsome bird.
Not being.
That is a handsome bird.
That is a handsome bird, actually, though. That's a fucking robot with fire. It doesn't even have any hair, but its hair is on fire somehow. It's a fucking robot. How is its hair on fire?
Dude, we need to find a way to do like a quiz for our audience and send it out. So I would love to know what our listeners are thinking and where they'd put things and get it aggregated. We'll have to figure it out. Send out one of those Google Forms or something.
I love that. I'm down for that.
Who-
All right, who are we missing from this list? We're literally at an hour and 30 minutes here. So
Dude, we're not gonna get them all on today. I say we just rank the ones we got, call it for day. We'll come back to it because we're not gonna get them all, bro.
if we are missing any, please let us know. I think the Bankless and Defiant founders could be on this list. But
really?
I mean, they have huge followings in this.
It's true, but NFT wise.
That there is, we're merging in crypto,
Like we're trying to focus on
that's
the
a good
NFT
point.
wise, like so.
Bankless isn't really NFT focused influencers, so I agree.
What is the name? I always forget, and thank God I do. The two blonde brothers that like moved to Puerto Rico, the douchebags that like bought like that on one force and like for $600,000 and it's worth 12 now. He's getting into boxing matches with Mayweather. I always forget his name. Thank God. I'm happy that you should be happy that none of us remember his name.
Logan Paul. Let's put Logan Paul.
Okay, we need to fill in that D category, so you can just put him right there.
Okay, I like that. I could do that. Is it Logan Paul or Jake Paul that bought it? It's Logan Paul.
Who cares? Just the first one that shows up, put him up there. It's same fucking thing, you know.
Okay. I think Logan Paul is the one that's been rugging more projects.
Let's see. All right. Late addition here to the list at D.
I can't tell you how happy I am that none of us like immediately knew his name.
I
like,
will say
for humanity. I just have to say there's fucking like
it is
good.
Hope. It is good.
It is a good thing.
Yeah. We one thing that didn't make our list, and we will end it. Look, it sounds like Gifted has somewhere to be. He is an influencer after all, so we have no idea where he needs to go.
Get the fuck out, bro.
We have D lists that we really didn't fill up. That is an interesting part of this. That we like stayed super positive with the influencers that maybe, I'm obviously some people that ended up in B, I think were higher in the last cycle and now fell down the list. But we really don't have, other than Zagabond and the Paul, any Ds or Fs.
Flubberoni has a great idea here. And that's that we publish this image
and
tag everybody. As a Twitter thing, yes.
No.
Yes, you.
No, you can do it.
You.
No, you can do it. I will not be here for that. I'll see you next cycle if you post that.
Dude, we have to. We're literally putting this on YouTube, but you won't put it on Twitter? Like, what? What are you scared of, bro? Like, it's already out there.
Doesn't mean adding everybody. Yo, check out how you're on a D tier, Logan Paul. Fuck you, bitch.
People screenshot this and tag them all. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't want to get ahead of it. Go ahead and do it.
GIF, you can do this. This is the Web3 network. If you would like to do it, take it and run with it. I'm totally down. You have open ownership here of the Rate My Influencer list.
Let's see if we can get our own controversies going. Let's see if we can get played.
We're gonna get it, dude.
Before we take the snapshot.
Prediction.
I hope Paris Hilton. I hope Paris Hilton flames us in the chat. I hope she sees it and she's like, "What the fuck? How am I not S tier?"
Who's gonna be most upset about their tier placing on this list? It's
Snoop Dogg and Paris Hilton and Elon Musk.
Mint it. We're getting minted. All right, before we mint it.
To be honest, you know what? Natalie Crew might flame us just for having her on here at all. She'll be like, "How the fuck did you put me next to Franklin and Beanie? What the fuck?" I could see Natalie tearing into us.
There's a gap. There's a gap. It's like the good ones and the not so good ones.
Dickensis is saying Gary Vee is going to be upset he's not alone. Which I can get behind. All right, four that we haven't listed yet that we need to, before we take the snapshot that GIF is going to ruin this network with, we're going to place these four people.
Oof. I'd put that motherfucker on the C.
Which motherfucker?
Which one?
The only one there.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, talking NFTs.
Satoshi, yeah,
right. Satoshi, all right.
Because isn't Satoshi totally anonymous too? Like they
didn't run, but like he just like left the community.
Yeah.
not the best approach, but at the same time, he was pretty innovative with CCO and all that, embracing CCO and all that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
C-ish.
Yeah, he's so Dickenza says he's a non and officially gone. So yeah, we can't really promote him as a great influencer.
Love that.
There have been a lot of comments on this episode. This has been an absolutely off the rails episode and show that we've
I
had.
love
Here.
it.
Peter Koo is coming in saying, "You have no Solana ones. You guys hate Solana. Why? I can't take it anymore."
Wait. We did talk about adding Frank the Gods on here. So
Okay.
you know what?
Oh yeah,
Maybe
that's right. What are you talking about?
Maybe we
did.
throw him a bone and we put Frank on here since Frank basically put Solana on the map because there's nothing else going on there, frankly, that's worth a shit. But there you go. We'll, if we throw, X copy is a good one. If we throw Frank on here, then you know what Solana's representing. Peter Q is saying Beanie must be to E. Do we want to move Beanie down to D? With
I could move
Zagabond?
Beanie down. I could put
'Cause
Beanie down.
Yeah, because I feel like there's enough negativity and sort of bad, like sort of misconduct type stuff that maybe we're being too nice. I don't know.
We'll leave it up to the chat. I got so you guys are going to decide here C or D for Beanie. So that's going up right now. That'll be the last poll before we head out of here.
And I'll put in my 2 cents because I'm not, I would definitely probably put him down on D just because of the little bit that I know about what happened last night. Again, if we're trying to move this space forward, if we're trying to like give a good look for people to want to come over, like that, you don't do that shit, right? Like you don't do it that way. So yeah, for that, just for that,
Okay.
D.
Yeah, part of this is about
what
curating
Twitter says.
the most legit people that are actually creating, long-term sustainability value for the space.
Nope, bro.
And yeah.
Snowfro Day, just for the WAGMI United shirt alone.
Yeah, I think Snowfro could be an A, probably.
Man. Okay.
All right, we have. Wait, what should he be? Tell Biggie.
S, man. The fucking like pioneers of generative art, but that's fine. That's fine. Like I'll take it.
But I don't think.
I'm already thinking about polling our audience and seeing where it falls. But dang, yeah. I think like Tyler Hobbs as copy, but again, I understand it's like that should be rate my artist with a capital A or generative artist, but I do think again, like being like what he did with with squiggles and everything, it's just like, damn, man, like number one for that. So, but that's fine. I'm happy with A. Put him at A. And if
Unless we get
to your judgment.
So Dickens is saying Snowfro for defining generative art. So if he's that's a pretty big innovation.
It's a huge contribution.
Yeah,
Snowfro is a big name. Yeah, I think there's an argument to be made. Maybe maybe that's one that we come back and we revisit.
We come back.
Pull on next time. Yeah,
we will. We'll do that. We'll leave them at S for now. Just for obviously Squiggles, like that's absolutely insane what they were able to do for the space with generative art. So Artchick, Farouk, Matt Medved are the last pieces here.
Farouk on B, along with Pio. I don't think better or less than each other. So if Pio's there, I would just put Farouk there too.
Is there more negative press related to Farouk though?
Is there?
I'm gonna refrain from commenting on this one. I would love to put it up to a vote, but we're not gonna do that. So if you just want to put him at a B, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Artchick, I feel like can't be above a C because I don't feel like, again, all I know is like it's a non-person and they seem to just be a showfluencer. That's what I know, but I could be wrong. If Artchick belongs somewhere else, please let us know in the comments.
So
we'll revisit it. Yeah.
Quantum Variant and Gifted have been at odds here on multiple different influencers here because he's saying Artchick at A. There were a couple other comments.
Joseph, why? Yeah, explain. I want Joseph to explain himself. Why is Artchick an A and not just a showfluencer? Please let me know their values what they stand for, what they're influencing, other than pumping their own bags. Please let us know in the comments.
We're closing the Beanie poll in the next 10 seconds. You guys got to get it in. Hurry up. We already have some votes coming through, but that will determine if Beanie is at the bottom of the list or just at C.
Maybe we just agree to disagree for now and put our chick at B. And then we come back and revisit that one too.
All right. Matt Medved, last one. I'll probably put him at B too. I like what they're doing with NFT now. It's between a B and C for me.
I'd say it's between A or B, but so maybe B, since that's where we overlap.
Nice. Ooh, this is going to be fun.
These are like family and friends over here. We have like a family and friends section.
Yeah.
You're gonna tag everybody here?
Yeah, hell yeah. Who's the pink one next to Natalie? Who's that one?
That is Kagian. That is a friend of the channel.
Heck yeah. I know Kagi. I just didn't recognize that photo.
He does the shocked face on YouTube thumbnails better than anybody in existence. Yeah. So, all right. You guys were awesome. I looks like Quantum Variant. We want to get your comments, so we'll be looking at that as the
he agreed. He agreed
ends.
with B. He agreed with B.
Okay.
We agreed on the compromise, the middle road for our chick out of B.
Just take a beautiful look at this Rate My Influencers list that will end up getting us canceled along with Speakeasy on the entire. If people don't know about us now, they're going to know about us after this. All right. Thank you for tuning in here today on at NFT Live for today's episode as well. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Look out for this tweet that we're going to tag the entire space in as well, so you guys know what's going on with that. Hopefully we don't die. I will see you next week. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much.
Ciao, fellas.
Gift that
Revive our tribe. That's it. Revive
our
our tribe. Hey, Speakeasy, 6 p.m. tonight.